1.8 trillion parameters. That is the estimated scale of the engine driving the world's most powerful AI, a number so vast it defies human intuition. We aren't just writing code anymore. We are architecting digital brains using nothing but raw math and staggering amounts of electricity. The era of if-then logic is dead, replaced by a statistical ghost that even its creators don't fully understand. I'm Alex. This is Beyond the Model, where we decode the AI revolution reshaping your world. Last week, we looked at whether AI would take your job. Today, we go deeper into the mechanical heart of the machine to see why this isn't just another software update. By the end of this video, you will understand the black box reality that keeps Silicon Valley's elite awake at night. To understand why AI feels like magic today, we have to look back at the winter of 2017. Before then, AI was brittle. It could recognize a cat or translate a sentence, but it couldn't reason across contexts. Everything changed with a single research paper titled, "Attention is All You Need." This introduced the transformer architecture, the breakthrough that allowed machines to process information in parallel rather than sequence. It was the moment we stopped teaching computers rules and started giving them the ability to pay attention to what matters. This wasn't a gradual evolution. It was a total structural reset that paved the way for the explosion of capability we've witnessed over the last 24 months. Since late 2022, the speed of change has moved from linear to vertical. We've seen the release of GPT-4, Claude 3, and Gemini 1.5, each representing a leap in compute that would have been unthinkable 5 years ago. This isn't just about better algorithms. It's about the massive deployment of NVIDIA's H100 chips, creating a new global arms race for processing power. Companies are no longer competing on features. They are competing on the sheer volume of silicon they can bring online. This is the scaling hypothesis in action. The belief that if you just add more data and more compute, intelligence emerges as a natural byproduct of scale. At its core, every AI you interact with operates on the token economy. Every word, every pixel, and every sound is chopped into a numerical representation called a token. But here's what nobody tells you. The AI doesn't know what a dog or freedom is. It only knows where those concepts sit in a high-dimensional mathematical space. When you type a prompt, the model isn't thinking about an answer. It is calculating the statistical probability of which token should come next based on trillions of previous examples. It is a hyper-advanced version of the autocomplete on your phone, powered by the most expensive library in human history. The part they don't show you in the headlines is that this process is incredibly fragile. If the underlying data is biased, the math becomes biased. If the tokens are poorly defined, the logic collapses. We are building a cathedral of intelligence on a foundation of statistical guesswork. This is why AI can hallucinate with absolute confidence. It isn't lying. It's simply following a path of high probability that happens to lead nowhere. Researchers call this the alignment problem, but it's actually a translation error between human meaning and machine math. We are trying to bottle lightning using a jar made of numbers, and sometimes the lightning leaks out in ways we can't predict or control. Here's the thing that keeps AI researchers up at night. We are reaching the limits of high-quality human data. We have scraped almost every book, every website, and every public transcript. To keep scaling, companies are now forced to use synthetic data, AI-generated content used to train the next generation of AI. This creates a feedback loop where models begin to mimic their own flaws, leading to a phenomenon called model collapse. We are effectively inbreeding digital intelligence, and the results could be a stagnation of capability just as we're becoming most dependent on it. Everything I just told you is accurate, but there's a dimension to this story that almost no one in the media covers. The black box isn't just a metaphor, it's a mathematical reality. We can see the inputs and we can see the outputs, but the layers in between, the millions of tiny weights and biases, are essentially illegible to us. There is no find function to see where a specific fact is stored. The intelligence is distributed across the entire network. This means we are deploying systems into our banks, hospitals, and courtrooms that we literally cannot reverse engineer. We are trusting the hunch of a trillion-parameter equation. This lack of transparency is the hidden tax on the AI revolution. When an AI makes a decision about your mortgage or your medical diagnosis, there is no why that a human can easily read. We are moving from the age of reason to the age of correlation. In this new world, being right 99% of the time is considered a triumph. But in a world of 8 billion people, that 1% error rate is a catastrophe. This is the trade-off we've made. We've traded our ability to explain for the machine's ability to perform. It's a deal we're making every time we hit send on a prompt. Beyond the architecture, we have to talk about emergent properties. These are capabilities that the models weren't explicitly trained for, like the ability to code in an obscure language or solve a logic puzzle they've never seen. These skills simply appear once the model reaches a certain size. It's like adding water to a container and suddenly realizing the water has learned how to sing. This unpredictability is what scares the regulators. If we don't know what skills will emerge at the next scale, how can we possibly prepare for the risks? We are essentially conducting a global experiment in real time. But here's the pattern interrupt you need to hear. The hardware is starting to dictate the software. We are no longer limited by human imagination, but by the physical heat generated by server farms. The future of AI isn't just in the code, it's in the cooling systems and the power grids. The next 5 years will see a shift from general AI to vertical AI. Instead of one model that does everything, we will see highly specialized small language models trained on private proprietary data. This is where the real value lies. Legal firms, pharmaceutical companies, and engineering giants are already building walled garden AIs that don't share their secrets with the public web. The winners won't be those who use ChatGPT the best. It will be those who own the most unique, high-quality data sets that the open web models can't touch. This is the new digital enclosure movement. As we look toward 2030, the emotional stakes become viscerally real. We are approaching a PostLabor economy where the cost of intelligence drops to near zero. This will be the most significant wealth transfer in history, moving from those who perform tasks to those who own the systems that automate them. This isn't just a tech trend, it's a fundamental rewrite of the social contract. You need to stop viewing AI as a tool and start viewing it as a new species of infrastructure. If you aren't learning how these models think today, you will be a passenger in a world driven by equations you can't read. 3 things to take from today. First, AI is statistical prediction, not conscious thought. Second, compute is the new global currency, controlled by a handful of corporations. Third, the black box means we are using powerful tools we cannot fully explain. Remember that 1.8 trillion parameters from the start? Here's what that actually means. We are betting the entire global economy on a mathematical hunch that more scale equals more wisdom. Next video on Beyond the Model, the 5 jobs AI will create that don't exist yet. If this changed how you see what's coming, subscribe. We're just getting started.